Hey guys, Danny here. I hope you're all doing well. Today I'm reviewing a smartwatch. As always, please note this product was sent to me for free for review. If you'd like to pick it up and also support my channel, you can find a link down below. This watch has a 1.8-inch bright touchscreen. It also has built-in Bluetooth calling, so it's got a microphone and a speaker. It also supports Alexa from Amazon, and it has a high capacity battery which they say will get you 7 days battery life, amongst many other features. This watch normally sells for around £60, but it's currently having a huge sale on Amazon at £27 if you include the voucher, so go take a look if you're interested. I reviewed quite a few smartwatches now, and this one doesn't feel premium or cheap. It lands somewhere in the middle with quite a nice finish, and I do like how easy the strap is to put on and take off. What was a little odd is the company selling this watch on Amazon is named AEAC, and you don't even see their branding on the package when you're unboxing this product, which I did find a little bit odd. But nonetheless, it does have good support, as I was pleased to see that it did get a firmware upgrade as soon as I switched it on, and it also got one a couple of days later too. I'm on a 9-mile run, and I've got the watch on, of course. The app for some reason closed on my phone, even though I set the battery usage to unrestricted, and I can't resume the run. And because this watch doesn't have built-in GPS, I've got my time, but I've now lost my miles and of course my time per mile, so I'm not happy. Anyway, let's carry on. So let me say that a little bit clearer. So essentially what happened is I started my outdoor run on the smartphone app, and what this does is it records the GPS from your smartphone and relays that to the smartwatch, as the smartwatch doesn't have GPS built in. At some point during the run, apparently 3.41 miles in, the app either crashed or closed somehow, I don't know how, and this stopped the GPS data being sent to my smartwatch. The smartwatch carried on recording the time that the exercise was running for and also my heart rate, but it stopped getting the GPS data, of course, so it didn't show the total miles when I finished the run, which was 9 miles, and it didn't obviously have the breakdown that I would have liked of my per mile time. I did actually notice this while I was running, and I tried to restart the exercise from my phone, but it said the exercise program was still running on my smartwatch and I would have to cancel the exercise on my smartwatch and start over, so I was really disappointed to see that there was no resume feature. I did also record some of my gym workouts. I'll show you on the app on screen, and I found, like most other smartwatches, they're okay. I mean, they're going to track your heart rate and your calories burned and that type of stuff, but personally it's not something I would really use. I would use a smartwatch to record my running and maybe swimming, and this smartwatch is waterproof, so I did take it in the shower with me and it does still work. The watch claims to have 110 sports modes. Now, I think what they're trying to say with this is it would support using the modes that it has with 110 different sports. I guess you could phrase it that way, but there's like 10 or something different exercise modes you can switch between, so just bear that in mind. One thing I did quite like about this smartwatch, it does have quite a good vibration motor, which for example vibrated every time I hit a mile in my run. It also has a very good speaker, which makes like a countdown sound when you're about to start an exercise, and it also has a microphone for calls as well. When it comes to the speaker's quality and the microphone quality, I was really impressed. The speaker sounded quite loud and pretty clear, and the person on the other end said they could hear me quite well. They said it sounded pretty similar to a mobile phone call, so this did really surprise me. I wasn't expecting it to work very well at all. As with a lot of the features, the app works with your smartwatch and the app supports Alexa, so you can also use that. It works pretty well a lot of the time. Sometimes it's a little bit slow and you have to kind of wait for it to wake up, but it works pretty well. Set a timer for 60 seconds.
1 minute, starting now.
Let's talk a little bit more about the app support, as obviously this is very important when using a smartwatch. Now, I did have the problem with the app closing when I was on my run. I also found when I first started using this app, it really drained the battery on my phone, so I restricted its background usage. But when you do that, you then break things like notifications and some of the other features, so it's a bit of a difficult balance. Maybe it's just the app needs some improvement. Besides this, I found the app support pretty good. The layout of the program is pretty decent. It's called VeryFit, and it worked pretty well. I didn't have any issues with it. There's a whole bunch of different stuff you can go through in here, like your heart rate, your sleep tracking. You can customize a few of the settings of your device from here as well, and it's laid out pretty well. It could use, some subtle improvements, but for the most part, you're going to find your data laid out pretty well. It's going to give you your average heart rate, your resting heart rate. You can do a whole bunch of stuff in here. It even has some breathing exercises you can do as well. If you're quite picky with your watch faces, I think you should be able to find one you need in this app, as there's so many to choose from. I don't know the exact number, but you'll see there's some paid ones here. I went into the free section and was just scrolling, and there seemed to be a lot of different options, and I couldn't see that there's more in-depth customization of the watch face in terms of actually moving individual elements, which some watches allow you to do. But I did actually find one I liked myself, and I think most people, because of the amount of choice you have, you'll find something you'll like. I comfortably got 5 days battery life on this watch, and I had about 18% battery life remaining, so I do think you can easily get these 7 days that they claim if you baby this a little bit and don't have as many of the features turned on. Bearing in mind this doesn't have a always on display, which would probably drain the battery a lot faster. You'll also be able to quickly charge this device back up to full in under 2 hours. The device does have quite a nice bright display. It doesn't have a super high resolution, so you can see some of the pixels, and it does get bright enough that you can review it in direct sunlight, but it isn't bright enough that it's going to be easy to see, especially if you're doing something like running, but it's enough that if you stop and want to take a quick look, you can see what's on the screen. Let's delve a little bit deeper into the button functionality and the UI. So the side button simply just turns on the device or wakes it up, and sometimes you can press it to go back or end tasks that you're doing, such as holding it down to end an exercise. You have a quick access panel at the top here, which gives you access to a bunch of different features such as your brightness, jumping into your settings, a flashlight, disabling features quickly, and so on. This device has a very similar control screen and layout to a lot of other devices like a Xiaomi that I reviewed before, or a little bit like a Amazfit if you've ever used any of their devices. So for the most part, it's pretty good and it has a decent intuitive layout. However, I did find with this display, sometimes it wasn't really registering my touches very well, and especially when scrolling through menus, sometimes it seemed to work better than others. I felt like the touch response and accuracy just feels like it needs some refinement. So if this is something that can easily bug you, this device did seem to be a little bit temperamental at times. It definitely wasn't unusable and didn't ruin the experience, but there was a few occasions where I did find it mildly annoying trying to just navigate through the menus, and it wasn't really registering my touches properly or opening an app when I was simply just trying to scroll past it. Before I move on to my final thoughts, I want to share some things I didn't like about this product, or some things that I think need improving. So coming from some other smartwatches that I've previously reviewed, a good example would be Xiaomi's smartwatch range, is I did miss some of the extra features like double tap the display to wake it up, or for example the raise to wake feature. I like being able to set a time that you can use that, as sometimes I was staying in bed and I would be trying to fall asleep and I would move my arm and I would see a bright light which would sometimes kind of semi wake me up. So this is something I would like to see in maybe a future update or future releases of this smartwatch. Not having an always on display, of course, isn't a deal breaker, but a lot of people do like this feature and it is something I do use sometimes too. I also would like to see some improvement to the touch display. While it definitely isn't bad by any means, sometimes I did find it a little bit finicky to use, but this can be quite common amongst a lot of smartwatches, so do bear that in mind. Lastly, but not least, I think this app definitely needs to have a resume feature if something goes wrong with your exercise, because this is something really important. If you're running or swimming or whatever you're doing, if the app crashes or closes, you need to be able to resume your exercise, as this is going to happen to a lot of people, I can guarantee it. In the 5 days I've been using this product, especially for a brand I've never heard of before, I was very surprised by this smartwatch, and it did grow on me over time. While it's not perfect and it needs definitely some improvements, its standout feature would probably be its microphone and speaker quality when using it for calls, and it's generally all round a decent performer. While it's not perfect, I think if you can pick this up at a good price, especially now on the sale, it's definitely a very good deal. If you've listened to some of my cons and things I didn't like about this product, but you don't think there'll be a deal breaker for you, I think this will be a good purchase for you. And if you'd like to pick it up, as always, you can find a link down below, which will also help me with my channel. I really hope you enjoyed the video, guys. If you did, please leave a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing for more videos like this one. And of course, I will see you in the next one. Woo! Little 9 mile run, baby. It's been like 9 months. Let's get it.